And you always knew the bad news was coming with Todd because he'd go, here's the thing. And he said, we're going to lose the orchestra in Dresden and we have to do all of the conducting first. I do think there's a distinct lack of shame in society. And I think shame is very different to guilt. Guilt is a very useful.
Rumors surrounding Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' alleged pattern of bullying within Hollywood have been circulating for years, and many believe the Justin Balgoni situation was only one chapter in a much larger story. The whispers never completely faded. If anything, they've grown louder. And now the narrative has taken an even sharper turn as Cate Blanchett is reportedly speaking up. In a new interview that's catching fire across the industry, Cate, a figure known for her grace, restraint, and almost royal reputation, has hinted at her own unsettling experience involving Blake and Ryan. When someone as private and respected as Cate Blanchett decides it's time to talk, people pay attention. Some insiders claim that whatever happened between them wasn't minor conflict or casual ego clashing. It was something deeper, something personal. According to sources, the issue wasn't just creative disagreement. The claim now circulating is that Blake may have attempted to overshadow Cate's influence and legacy in a project, allegedly presenting ideas and credit in a way that sidelined Cate entirely. And when Cate addressed it, Blake reportedly brushed it off, dismissing the situation instead of acknowledging it. But Cate didn't retaliate with drama, public call-outs, or angry interviews. Instead, she handled the situation with her signature composure. Quiet, strategic, precise. Those close to her say she moved carefully behind the scenes, setting events in motion that could be remembered as poetic justice. And now, it appears that Cate Blanchett may be the first Hollywood figure powerful enough to challenge the couple's alleged long-running behavior, bringing years of whispers, tension, and speculation into the light.
So it's sometimes good to be really simple. I mean, Matisse says this fantastic thing. It's just, don't try and be original. Just be...
Anyone even remotely familiar with Cate Blanchett knows that her connection with Chanel wasn't just a contract, it was an identity. Cate and Chanel have always been a flawless match, as natural together as poetry and paper, as effortless as silk and skin. For over a decade, she wasn't merely the face of the brand, she was the embodiment of it. Elegance without trying. History without effort, sophistication without noise. Chanel didn't just choose Cate, they built legacy with her. Year after year, Cate attended private couture showings, exclusive fittings where only select hands were allowed to touch the fabric. She sat front row beside the brand's inner circle, not as a guest, but as family. And in 2021, their partnership reached its peak when Cate signed a multi-season contract for the Women in Cinema campaign, a globally anticipated project meant to celebrate creative powerhouses of film. As part of the deal, Chanel commissioned a visually daring short film written by Cate's husband, Andrew Upton, black and white, no dialogue, no distractions. 2 women, only movement. Pure emotion, a legacy piece. Contracts finalized, wardrobe approved, budget locked, the film was crafted specifically to honor Cate's storytelling brilliance, something that would cement her artistic footprint with Chanel forever. Everything was ready, every detail polished, every camera prepared to frame Cate Blanchett as the centerpiece. The world was waiting for her. But then, on the day that history was supposed to be made, the unexpected happened. Blake Lively appeared in her place, not as a guest, not by mistake, but as the new face stepping into a spotlight that had been tailored, stitched, and built for Cate. It wasn't a scheduling conflict. It wasn't an oversight. It was a replacement. Sudden, shocking, and loud without making a sound. The room froze. People exchanged looks. Something monumental had shifted, and no one knew why.
Blake Lively is out and about in the UK promoting her One Simple Favor, right? Is that the name? Yep, she's out. She's wearing this Chanel head to toe V. Here's the look.
Fans were stunned. Social media exploded with confusion, questions, and disbelief. What was Blake Lively doing in a campaign that had been public knowledge as Cate Blanchett's project? Where was Cate? And why had everything changed overnight without explanation? For weeks, followers searched for answers. Was there a fallout, a disagreement, a quiet exit the public never caught? But soon, whispers began forming a very different picture. Sources close to production insist there was no fight, no artistic clash, no breakdown between Cate and Chanel whatsoever. Everything had been running smoothly until it wasn't. That's what makes this moment so unsettling. Blake's sudden arrival didn't look like coincidence. It looked engineered. Some insiders believed there was calculated sabotage, a strategic push from someone behind the scenes who wanted Blake front and center, even if it meant pushing Cate out. According to reports, Chanel reached out to Cate's team with a neutral-sounding update. The direction of the campaign has shifted. In Hollywood language, that's the softest possible way to say you're no longer needed. The news blindsided Cate. There'd been no tension, no creative dispute, no red flags. One day she was the face of the project, the next, Blake Lively was in her place. What made it worse, and what truly upset fans, was that Chanel didn't develop a new concept for Blake. They kept Cate's structure, Cate's artistic tone, Cate's vision, and allegedly just polished the surface to make it Blake branded. Add sparkle, add bright lipstick, add messaging about empowerment. The same bones, just covered in glitter. A legacy piece that once reflected Blanchett's artistic soul was now a glossy campaign wrapped around Blake Lively's image.
Oh, they're so look at these. They match my outfit. Look at those nails. Wow. Aren't they incredible? Those are amazing. I had time for that. I literally did it while it worked. It was a little chaotic. It was worth it.
Even the backstage crew was shocked. Hair artists, lighting techs, wardrobe assistants, people who had worked directly on Cate's campaign, reportedly found out from the press, not from Chanel. One stylist later leaked messages suggesting Blake was never meant to be involved at all. According to those alleged texts, her team approached Chanel with a cross-platform branding offer so huge, so profitable, that the fashion house couldn't ignore it. The offer was irresistible. But replacing Cate Blanchett quietly and suddenly, that was bold, maybe too bold. But the campaign shift was only the first move. Insiders claim that after Blake secured the contract, her team initiated a media-forward strategy to reposition Cate as part of the old guard, while promoting Blake as Chanel's refreshing, innovative new era. A rebrand built not on personal innovation, but on contrast. Out with the classic, in with the current. Then came March 2023. Chanel announced a private Paris dinner, an elite gathering of filmmakers, couture icons, brand partners, and industry tastemakers. Cate had RSVP'd months earlier. She was set to debut Andrew Upton's minimalist legacy short film that was supposed to represent her artistic relationship with Chanel. It was meant to be her night, her moment of celebration. But just 2 weeks before the event, Chanel released a statement. Blake Lively would be honored as the centerpiece of the evening. Cate's film was pulled quietly, no explanation given. It was replaced with a theme built around Blake. Cross-platform storytelling merging beauty, cinema, wellness, branding. Cate's vision erased, Blake's installed. And still, Cate didn't back out. No tantrum, no public complaint. She arrived in Paris poised, elegant, unshaken, the way only someone with real legacy can. Guests whispered, cameras watched. Blanchett walked the room not as a rival, but as a woman who knew her value didn't vanish just because someone tried to replace it. The dinner was smooth until it wasn't. According to one insider, Blake wasn't seated near Cate. She was positioned at the front, framed by flashbulbs and PR handlers, with Cate placed noticeably further away. For most actresses, this would be humiliating, but Cate didn't flinch. She moved with quiet command, speaking softly, greeting guests, all while the room felt a tension no one dared name. Then, Blake made her move. Blake was seated beside a senior Chanel creative, laughing comfortably, blending into the spotlight that once belonged to Cate. According to someone close enough to hear, Blake leaned in and said with a relaxed confidence, "I just feel like I could bring something fresh to it." The script was beautiful but kind of outdated, right? The creative paused, then replied with a sharp edge disguised as politeness. "You mean Andrew's script?" Neither of them seemed to realize Cate had authored the vision, or if they did, they didn't care to acknowledge it. A moment later, Blake added, "Legacy doesn't really sell to Gen Z." Unlucky for them. Cate was seated only a few feet away. She heard every word. Witnesses say she didn't speak, didn't stand, didn't break. But her face shifted, just slightly, the way steel bends under pressure without snapping. Those who watched her closely said the light left her eyes. She spent the rest of the evening composed, but quietly devastated, carrying herself like someone who had been replaced not just professionally, but artistically and personally. Then came the twist no one expected. In April 2023, the first wave of Blake's Chanel x Netflix crossover campaign launched with massive publicity. But behind the glossy rollouts, a devastating mistake surfaced. A feature article, greenlit months earlier when Cate was still the campaign's star, was accidentally published in a British fashion magazine before anyone at Chanel caught it. The piece praised Cate's creative leadership and referenced Andrew Upton's minimalist short film, the very project that had been scrapped to make room for Blake. The article lived online for just 3 hours before it was quietly removed, but the internet is faster than corporations. Screenshots spread across Twitter, Reddit, and fashion forums like wildfire. Fans were furious. They accused Blake not only of stepping into Cate's role, but of taking credit for the work and vision that Blanchett and Upton had already built. The internet reaction was immediate and brutal. Screenshots spread, think pieces rolled out, and hashtags trended overnight. For the first time, the public wasn't confused. They were furious. Cate never spoke directly about the situation, but a few weeks later, she accepted a quiet humanitarian award in Berlin. That night, her acceptance speech was recorded by an attendee. The clip vanished online shortly after, but one quote survived, and it exploded across social media like wildfire. There's a difference between honoring a story and owning it like it was always yours. One builds legacy, the other builds ego. Fans took it as a precise, controlled strike, subtle enough to deny, sharp enough to pierce. Cate didn't need names. Everyone already knew. Meanwhile, things were only deteriorating for Blake. Her PR team, notorious for their fierce hands-on approach, reportedly underestimated the power of Cate's global fan base. Instead of elevating Blake as a visionary creative, the campaign began to collapse under scrutiny. Critics questioned the ethics, fans dissected timelines, rumors had become narrative, and the narrative wasn't in Blake's favor.